So I'm Jonna. Nice to meet you, everyone. I'm from the customer success team at Limecraft, here with Martin Vervast, our founder, one of our founders. So to begin with a little bit of housekeeping. So this session is going to last about 40 minutes. An important note, so today we're going to try something new. We will try a bit more interactive approach. We are going to invite you to interact with us towards the end to ask you if you want to give a try to some more advanced features.
So before we go in those last advanced features, which have been released in private beta, and we'll discuss them later, really quick introduction. So as most of you in the audience are frequent users of the Limecraft platform, if not key users, we're out there since 15 years. What started as a very advanced media asset management alternative and workflow system has lately become a full supply chain and subtitling machine. We do have a sneak preview for you today, which is around automated dubbing. As you may know, synthetic voices are going quite realistic, and for certain use cases like dubbing news, etc., it's delivering excellent results. So what sets Limecraft apart? It's not just a media asset management solution. It's not just a workflow machine. It's both. And apart from the technicalities, the whole team of Limecraft, including the lead developers, have been in the media production and broadcast business for more than 25 years. So there is a broad and deep understanding in the company, not just across the company. We understand how media is produced and distributed, and that really makes a difference. Step by step, we've been expanding on the low-code workflow principle, meaning that you don't need to write software to come up with a step in the 25.5 release, touching some accessibility features, but not accessibility for subtitling and dubbing, accessibility of our own application. We will talk about how the sharing and collaboration features have been improved recently, a quick update on delivery workspaces that include the sharing functionality, by the way, and then we'll spend some more time on speaker change indication in subtitles, which is a huge time saver. On the very first subject, it's all good that Limecraft is creating tools for subtitlers that improves broadcasters and video on demand players. It makes it easier to create subtitles, but we have some comments and complaints about contrast, how the application zooms. So the full detail is probably beyond the scope of this webinar, but just as an example, the icons which we're using on top of the thumbnails, the font types, and the color schemes have been adapted. If this is of your interest, please check our website. I think the 25.5 release is on top of the blog, and it has the full detail of how we've improved the accessibility. And this is not an endpoint. We have improving the accessibility of our own application is on the roadmap and will come. Quick note also on sharing and collaboration. For those who are not familiar with the sharing and collaboration features, Limecraft is a full alternative for applications like Vimeo and Frame.io. So if you're on Limecraft to manage a production workflow and managing brushes, and you want to share a collection of clips with an executive producer, It's not necessary to export those files and to upload them into YouTube or WeTransfer or Frame.io. It's just built in. If you produced subtitles and you need approval from a supervisor or your customer, with a single button click, you share these items with an external party that cannot download any of the content. So it's secure. It's instant because it's streaming. It doesn't require download. And recently, we've we've shortened the URLs which we use for sharing, because some of these URLs were really hard to handle. Now it's become much easier to share clips or collections. Sharing functionality has been built in, not the last release, but I think the May release. We built in the sharing function in the delivery workspace. For those who are not familiar with delivery workspaces, delivery workspaces or the supply chain solution, media asset management processes across companies. As long as you're working in a team within a single company, it's all relatively simple. As soon as you start interacting between producers and broadcasters and maybe subtitling companies along the supply chain, things like identity management, access control, and commenting, it can get really complicated. And that's what we've solved with the delivery workspace. Here's how it looks like. Originally developed for DPG Media in Belgium. In the meantime, it's deployed at 2 other broadcasters in Germany and the Netherlands. This is a content portal that gives all stakeholders access to all the underlying parts of a series, different episodes, promo materials, subtitle files, and everybody's sharing the same dashboard with progress bars, what's been submitted, what's accepted, what's rejected.
Okay, so I have a demo workspace here ready from the delivery workspaces area or environment. And we wanted to specifically highlight 3 functionalities that can be of high interest. So since some time, it's now possible to signal the due dates and assignees for specific deliveries. So when working in a delivery workspace, we have different deliveries. For instance, here we have videos and audios, visuals, different types. And now it's possible to set a due date for each, and it's easily visualized and also color coded to immediately see what requires most attention at the moment. So we can easily see when there is a due date approaching. Similarly, it's possible to assign a certain delivery request, as we call it, to someone. And this can be done from here. So here we can put a due date. Also, as the one delivering the content, it's possible to put an estimation of when we expect the delivery to happen. And then next to this, we wanted to highlight that since some time ago, it's now possible to, instead of rejecting or approving a complete request, it's possible to reject and ask for further corrections to parts of a request. So I'm trying to look for a good example where this is possible. Here, I guess. Yeah. So in this way, it's possible to signal that just this part of the request requires further attention. And as long as there are elements in a request that have require attention, it's not possible to approve. So then lastly, we now support embedded review, and that means that instead of having to go out external from the delivery workspace environment, now it's possible to make use of the Limecraft review functionalities within the app itself. So here we can find some commenting possibilities. So that's about delivery workspace.
Is it possible to have multiple SNEs? Jonna talked about an SNE, but we've included the flexibility to assign a role or a passepartout or a general purpose. Thanks, by the way, for this quick demo, Jonna. For those who are not familiar with the delivery workspace logic, this is a big thing. If you're uploading 10 episodes of a series to a broadcaster or vice versa, if you're a broadcaster and having to ingest 10 episodes, in reality, it means that you can have to cope with 100 times or 1,000 individual deliverables, pieces of metadata, audio bits for podcasts, promos, trailers, subtitle files, dubbing files, you name it. 10 episodes will probably lead to 500 to 1,000 pieces of material that have to be delivered, and that's a logistic nightmare. Using the delivery workspace, all those parts will have different due dates, and they can be nicely tracked. You can search for those bits that are due date approaching, and it gives everybody a super convenient way to keep track of all the deliverables and the stage. Looking for the was about speaker change indication. What is speaker change indication? As a subtitle professional, you have to visually indicate, or speaking with two words, most style guides will impose rules to indicate a speaker change. Usually for the deaf and the hard of hearing, a subtitler would use different colors. So in continental Europe, yellow, green, white, bluish. In Spain, they would add magenta. In France, they're even using red. And then with a certain logic, whenever there is a speaker change, the color will change, indicating a different speaker. Also common to use a character at the beginning of the line, sometimes the top and the bottom line, sometimes only the second line of a subtitle box. So this is probably our longest outstanding feature. I think people have been asking for it for over 3 years, and it's now deployed in the latest release. I do have this reindeer fragment was ready in my browser. Let me get rid of these subtitles for the demo. There we go. Yeah. I'm not able to share my audio because this will reverb in the microphone, but most of you have seen the transcription feature of Limecraft, don't you? So it's transcribed, every word has timecodes. Those timecodes are then used to create subtitles, and before I hit the subtitle button, I'll take you to the subtitle spotting rules. The subtitle spotting rules, like many other settings, are accessible through the drop-down over here, workspace settings. Then scroll down to subtitle editor, where, as some of you know, there can be different sets of spotting rules for fast channels, for social media. But here we're looking at the default presets, which are pretty much in line with the Netflix style guide. And if I scroll down to over here, this part, then this box is added, speaker identification is added with the latest 25.5 release. And following the BBC style guide, one has to choose between using colors for speaker changes, or colors usually for the deaf and the hard of hearing, or a character to mark a speaker change. And then you can play with whether you're adding a space between the character and the first word or not. Netflix doesn't. The majority of subtitle professionals in Belgium and Netherlands will add a space between the dash or the hyphen and the first word. So this is all configurable, and in some Eastern European countries, they will even allow 3 or 4 speakers in a subtitle box, thereby adding the same character in the middle of the line. So I would suggest, or we would suggest, to play around a little bit with the settings. It's self-explaining because there is an example over here. Then don't forget to save the presets before you go to the workspace. Good, this was the one which is not yet subtitled, and if we now hit generate subtitles using the default presets which we have just modified, and then this is a full-length documentary, so this is a process which might take up to 15 or even 20 seconds. So the first introducing the first speaker means a dash or an M dash in front. The second subtitle box is the same speaker, so it's not marked as a changed speaker. And then I expect this one, without the reindeer, it's not possible to survive. And then we go back to speaker 1, and this might have 2 speakers. No, it's split. Good. But you catch my my drift. Please make sure the settings are well prepared before you apply the spotting rules. Then go to the workspace, hit cut in subtitles, and it will take into account your settings. And for those people in the audience, we've seen there are many people in subtitling today. Subtitles as a file, rather than to use the transcript for cutting subtitles, it will also check for speaker changes. So if you get a master template without speaker changes indicated, we will undertake to add these dashes in front according to your style guide.
Okay, just a quick sneak preview. So this is absolutely in the testing phase. These are clips that we've been testing on, and I found 2 examples that will give you an idea of what we have. So here's one video. It says English. So there's an audio that has been created with the AI. So let's give it a listen, a short listen. It's the first time I hear it. I'm definitely impressed.
Well, interestingly, this was a piece of, there is no audio, you didn't share the audio.
Oh, I didn't? What do I have to do to share it?
Stop sharing screen.
Okay, just a little technical.
Yeah, now share screen.
Share screen,
and
okay.
Then include audio on the right-hand side. Tick box, no?
It's not ticking it.
Not possible to tick the box. I'm sorry for that. Well, pretty impressive. I'm gonna reshare my screen if I can. This was an item from a Dutch broadcaster, which is dubbed in English, and it even took a Dutch accented voice for dubbing. Where we currently are with dubbing, and then we'll go to the questions. I've seen a few. Where we currently are is in Limecraft. In this release, there will be no lip sync. it will be quite obvious that this is a machine voice, but feedback we got from early adopters is that for news in your capacity as a news agency, it's even better that it's clear that this is a dubbed voice and not pretending to be the original voice. And also for IMG, who are using Premier League Productions content in Latin America, thereby dubbing from English into Spanish. It's good enough because the speaker is not, we don't need lip sync. The speaker is out of sight. It's the voiceover which is dubbed, and actually it's a good enough solution for those particular cases.
Yeah.
Jonna, we have a couple of questions before one in the Q&A. So speaker change detection is a great new feature. For which languages does it already work? The answer is simple. For any language, any applicable language, speaker change detection is completely, it's a different piece of software going on in the background, so it's not language depending on the language at all. It does speech to text, it does speaker segmentation or diarization, and the rest happens in Limecraft. We don't need the transcription engine to interact with. So I hope that answers that question. And then there is a question: when burning in the video with several speakers, the symbol remains on the subtitles? Yes, very good question, by the way. As this person is very well aware, we're getting on a slippery slope. It's a very delicate operation because we're making a material modification from the transcript into the subtitles, which, by the way, can add the number of characters on a line, and we must remain between, for Netflix, 42 characters on a line. So it's getting very messy here. But the challenge was it was even more challenging than just adding the hyphen in a burden subtitle. When we start translating subtitles, before we translate, we need to take away speaker change indication, translate, and then reapply the speaker change character. So we treat it as an object, and so far it's going great. We haven't found any exceptions. If you do, please let us know. It's just released, and we're trying to find out if it works. It behaves properly in all. For you, perhaps, Jonna. The due date. I couldn't see any button to send notifications. Is there a way to hit a button and send notifications to reviewers or approvers to complete their task that is overdue? Upon any submission of a deliverable by a producer or a subtitle operator, all involved parties, including the media operators on the broadcast side, are automatically notified. So there is a whole bunch of notifications going out, and that's an automated process anyhow. So if someone is nominated as a reviewer, they will be notified automatically. And yes, when an item is approaching the due date and the submission has not been done or not been approved yet, that for sure is also a trigger for notifications. So I think the majority of this question, for the majority of this question, the answer is yes, and happy to investigate if we need. And we wanted to quickly raise two specific features, custom workflows, capabilities to your attention. And let's start with a method we found for automating subtitling at industrial scale. So industrial scale, that's a few thousands of items per month, and you don't want to drag and drop them in Limecraft. Hit transcription, hit subtitling, wait for the results. So we found a way to use a watch folder or in this case, a watch folder on Amazon S3 bucket with a Lambda function on top that behaves like a watch folder. And it's been deployed for 5 or 6 customers in the meantime, including DAZN that was responsible for the FIFA World Cup between 15th of June and 15th of July. And we automated subtitles. We processed 600 hours of content, 36 individual clips of content in 4 weeks' time. That's what we call industrial scale. So we set up this watch folder in which not a person, but an automated system took items coming from EVS, dropping them in the right subfolder, which then controlled the language and the spotting rules. So it's usually more complex than just subtitle an item. You also need to make a decision on the custom dictionary and the specific subtitle rules which have to be applied. And then in this case, it's transcribed, subtitled, the result was sent back, but we have another customer which is then notified upon completion of the intermediary result, which is then sent in an email to the subtitle professional who can do the proofreading, then mark completed, and that triggers a follow-up action. So super convenient for those who are well above 100 hours per month. It requires a bit of customization, not too much, just to match the folders with the right metadata. It has a chapter on a knowledge base. Here is the link. And if you need any more information, please contact support.limecraft.com. And I think, Jonna, you wanted to discuss this one.
So now it's possible to make use of our own analytics dashboards that are inbuilt in your familiar Limecraft environment. And this is, as you see, you can see all kinds of charts and data. You have real-time statistics of managed media, ingested media, cloud storage, transcription volumes, all of these available in different dashboards and filters that you can drill down to the data exactly that you want to have a look at. And you can even drill down to the workspace level data. And the key benefits of this is, of course, to have available real-time tracking of the usage. You won't have any surprises. There's improved internal accountability because of the data that's available. And how does this work? This functionality is accessible for free of charge, starting from enterprise plans. And if you're interested to know more, you can send email to support.
Or look at the knowledge base article on this. So this doesn't require any further customization. There's just a tick box which we need to switch on, but that's literally 5-second operation. Again, free of charge for all enterprise customers, and then it automatically starts displaying data from the past. Without that switch box, you will not see it in your dashboard. So it's important to be aware, and we can just switch it on. Mm-hmm. I think, and apologies for running 3 or 4 minutes over time. That's about a wrap up. Quick note on what's upcoming. So the next 2 releases, 23rd of September will include first bits of notification configuration in private beta, and a very major update of the Adobe panel, which will allow sequences to be more easily exchanged between different editors working on different places. And then in November, we will further elaborate on notifications and come with an archive feature. Archiving, meaning that you don't have to delete your production or your workspace when it's done for cost reasons. We will give you the ability to archive it. We'll which will immobilize the workspace, but it will still remain available for searching, and you can reactivate it if you want. That brings us to the end of the webinar. Here's some upcoming events where you can meet us in person, and also the dates of the upcoming releases. My guess is that quite some of the people in the audience will be at IBC. We're 4 weeks ahead of IBC, and our calendar is already booked for more than 50%. So if you would appreciate a meeting with one of our experts, Dieter, the CTO, Nico, head of product, Jonna herself will be joining us at IBC.
Yeah.
Please take a minute to book a meeting in advance. Then we have the slot booked. Then further down the road, we are attending Subtitling in Paris. And mid-November, we're hosting a demo pod at the DPP Leaders Briefing in .com. Jonna, did you have anything in the chat or the Q&A?
No further questions. Just
well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Please do stay in touch.
Thank you. See ya.